Well, hey there, welcome back to the second tutorial here on how to create some WordPress blogs here, and more specifically, kind of how the class website is structured. So it'll help you, I think, later on when you go to upload some of your stories there as well. So anyway, let's try to pick it up where we left off. In our last tutorial, you learned how to get an account, create a URL, a theme, create some basic pages, and then your home page, getting that linked as your again, your primary page, your front page for your website. And so now we want to talk a little bit more about page hierarchy. As you notice right here, I've got some pages, and they're not in any real particular order, and I'm not real happy about that. So what do I do about it? Because after all, top stories is really supposed to be my top dog, because after all, that is, Dwight Brady Blog 1.wordpress.com, one of the most famous sites in all the land here, in just a few minutes. It's a miracle, actually. So anyway, all humor aside, we need to make some changes here, right? So let's go do that real quickly. We'll go back up to our dashboard here, and the way you restructure things in terms of the hierarchy is to go up again 2 pages, and we'll take a look at all the pages, and specifically the calendar, because that one right now is listed as number 1, and so we'll go ahead and edit that. And again, we may want to take the calendar out at some point, but for now we'll leave it in the mix. And right now, again, it's 0, which in the world of WordPress makes it number 1. So I know it's a little confusing, but I want to bump that back to number 3. So we'll go ahead and update, and we'll let that go. And we'll go back and do a little more editing. In top stories, I want to make sure that that's number 1, or in the case of WordPress, 0, which it is, so that's fine. And eventually that will get bumped up to being first in line. So let's continue to check through all these other ones here. Features, let's see, that one should be number 1. Yes, good, okay. And then, what happened to, let's see, about? And that's number 2. So I'll update that. And then there's another page rolling around in here called Chocolate Fire, and we'll get to that one in just a little bit. But for now, let me just preview changes and see what we've got cooking here. Yeah, Chocolate Fire, we're going to have to make that one subordinate now, because this is a new page that I want to put under top stories, right? So let's go ahead and take care of that, and I'll show you what I mean. So let's go back to the dashboard. All right, so let's look at pages again. And you'll notice that top stories and features, they all do not have a parent. There's nobody above them in terms of the hierarchy, okay? So they will be listed as independent pages on the drop-down menus. Now, if I want to have submenus below those menu headings, then that's where I've got to start creating, someone as a parent. Someone has to be the parent here. So what I'll do is, again, look back under all pages, and I want Chocolate Fire here to become the parent of top stories. And that should move it where I want it. And I just created this little blurb of a story here, where I inserted an image with a graphic, or image with a caption and some text. And I'll show you how to do that here in a little bit on another page. But for now, this is basically how you deal with your page hierarchy. And so let's go ahead and we'll update that if I haven't already, and then we'll preview our changes. And we'll see now when I pull up to top stories, hey, I've got Chocolate Fire, and again, you might have 10 stories going on here under top stories, or maybe at least a half a dozen to maybe 10 on any given day that are going to be your top stories. So it gives you a nice quick drop down, and you can just place them within the hierarchy depending on how newsworthy they are. So it's a really nice, simple way to create these little drop-down menus. And again, this is a quick hitting little story here. There's no video or anything. It's just an image of a fire and just a little write-up here. Obviously, your write-ups will be much more detailed, but this is just to give you a for instance here. So, all right, let's go back here and add a little more content to our home page. We haven't really talked much about that yet. So, quickly do that, and I'm going to have to wrap it up because unfortunately I have to keep these all under 10 minutes, and that's all the farther I can go with these tutorials. So anyway, let's go to all pages, and let's go to our top stories because we haven't really done a whole lot with that. So let's edit it. So right now on our top stories page, we just have some text, and we need to spruce this up big time. Okay, so best way to spruce it up is put some pictures up there. So we'll add some media. And the images that I want I've already uploaded here, but again, to upload it, you simply just go up here to upload files, and it'll let you browse for it anywhere on your computer. Okay, so for now though, I'm just going to grab an image, select it, and then again, if I wanted to, I could put a caption in over here, but for these particular photos, I don't really want a caption. I just want to bring it in, and I'll bring this one justified left. I do not want to link it right now to a media file, so I'll just say none, and then I'll keep it. That's a good size for an image, 300 by 199 or 200, and I'll go ahead and insert that into my page, and it should pop in there. Look what happened. It came in where I didn't want it because I didn't have the cursor where it belonged. If I put the cursor, it's going to go wherever the cursor is, and the cursor was unfortunately parked by brush fire, so I'll go ahead and bring it around and hit a return, and now I have the cursor where I want it. So let me just do it one more time. Sometimes mistakes are actually a good thing because we can repeat the steps because you're likely going to make the same mistake. Let's see. Yeah, we don't want media file. We just want this, and we'll go ahead and insert that back into my page, and it should pop in right where I want it. Good. All right, so let's go on beyond this. And we'll bring the cursor over here in this neck of the woods, and then we'll go ahead and insert yet one more picture before we wrap this tutorial up, and this is going to be coinciding with my other story about NMU creating the School of Clinical Sciences. Again, I don't want a caption on this one. We'll save that for when we create the separate story pages if we want to use an image with a caption. But for now, I'm just going to put an image in because I'll probably want to link these images at some point to these I guess what would you call them? They're children, their offspring pages. So, all right, let's put this one in on the right side, and again, we just want to say none, and yeah, we'll go ahead and link that or insert that into the page, and it should pop in over here. Now it looks a little off right now, but again, don't be too concerned because again, this is not necessarily a WYSIWYG editor. What you see is not what you're necessarily going to get when it goes up on the web. But I will go ahead and update my page, and then I can quickly preview it here and see what it's really going to look like. So let's see what it looks like when we go to the Brady blog. And as you can see, the look changes a little bit. It conforms it, makes it look a little tidier, and I can live with that. So we now have a little bit more in terms of content here on our homepage. It's not great yet, but I mean it's certainly an improvement. So that's a little bit more about page hierarchy, how to add a little bit of content in, and we'll certainly get into more content and linking more pages in the next tutorial. Thanks.